Bridges, everybody. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
We're talking about X-Men The Dark Phoenix Saga, despite what we were just talking about. This is an old book from the 1980s, but building off of a story arc from the 1970s. 1976 is when we introduced the Phoenix for the first time, and a little bit of background for that is... obviously, it's written by Chris Claremont.
What happens in the original...
In the original story, in the original
Saga.
Phoenix Saga, the first Phoenix Saga, or the Phoenix Saga, because it's the Dark Phoenix Saga.
Right.
Which, as a kid, I always assumed that it was one saga. No.
No.
There's the Phoenix and the Dark Phoenix Saga. They're two different sagas.
But they're the same Phoenix, right?
Same fucking Phoenix, same characters, and it's actually just the rest of the story.
Okay.
Even though there are some other stories in between that like break it up a little.
Does Jean Grey die at the end of the first Phoenix Saga?
No.
Okay. Did they just
The
banish
end of
the
this one.
Phoenix?
No.
At the end of the first Phoenix Saga?
Okay, well here's the
Where does the
idea.
Phoenix go?
The Phoenix doesn't go anywhere because when they first created it...
What is the Phoenix?
Well, here's the thing.
I really need
At the end of the day, the Phoenix is a cosmic entity that exists in the universe.
It's like an alien?
It's like an alien that needs a host in order to like exist or in order to be effective.
Okay.
So without a host, the Phoenix can do nothing.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the Phoenix does all kinds of shit, but they weren't really thinking about it when they invented it. See, the idea here is when they first created the Phoenix with the Phoenix Saga, Jean was piloting a spaceship that was out of control, that was going to crash into the Earth, and it was going through solar radiation, and it was determined by one of the passengers that it was such solar radiation that the pilot of the ship would surely die if... So actually she does die at the end of that story. Would surely die if they were piloting the ship, so everyone's going to die. So then Jean uses her psychic powers to make everybody shut up and go to sleep, and then she puts them into pods, and then she pilots the ship.
Okay.
And absorbs so much solar radiation from the solar flare or whatever that she dies. But it doesn't quite die. It's more that like it activates her like latent psychokinetic powers. So it actually augments her powers. Because originally Marvel Girl / Jean Grey was the weakest, lamest character on the team. She can like read your mind. That's very helpful. Thank you, Jean. When Magneto's attacking, we'll be sure to read his mind when he's throwing
that's what
giant...
Professor X can do, right?
Well, yeah, but he's way more powerful and better at it.
We can read everyone's mind. Like
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yep. Yeah. And also Magneto has a helmet that blocks that ability anyway, so thanks a lot for coming by, Jean.
It's okay. She can read the Juggernaut's mind.
Nope.
Oh, it's okay. She can read somebody else. She can read Emma Frost's mind.
No.
Ah,
she's
damn it,
also
Jean.
she's a more powerful psychic. So yeah, so they were like, let's make her cool. And the idea here was, let's make Jean the first like female cosmic powered character in the Marvel universe. Like, let's make a really cool, uber powerful female character in Marvel, because we don't have that right now. And so they're like, let's make it Jean.
What about Storm?
Fuck Storm. Because Storm's the obvious choice, because she's already so powerful and cool. But she's not cosmically powerful.
Okay. Right.
Because there's no weather in space.
Her powers are augmented and activated.
Okay.
And they all plunge into the ocean, or into Jamaica Bay. And then when she emerges from the water as the Phoenix, in a new costume. That looks like this one, but it's green and gold.
Okay.
Which is actually a variant on her Marvel Girl costume. So she comes out and she's like, "It's me, Jean. When I went through that shit, I became Phoenix, and now I'm super powerful." And they're like, "Cool, that's going to be really helpful. It's going to help us out of a lot of jams."
Right.
So she was just herself.
Yes.
Well,
It was-
except...
No, but that was it. That she called herself Phoenix because of the solar flare and because of her new powers, because she's like reborn in a way.
Right.
So she called herself Phoenix, and the Phoenix was just her code name for her new powers.
Did they then retcon that?
Yes.
Okay.
Almost immediately. They
like, that's dumb.
well, they were like, fuck that. So then they were like, let's make a cool story where she's an asshole. So then they have that. So enter the Dark Phoenix Saga, and in it, the Phoenix starts to become like another personality, which is unfortunately very similar to X-Men 3: The Last Stand.
Yes. I was gonna say,
Which is
that sounds
dumb
like,
and offensive.
It really would have been a little bit better had they just been like, no, she has like the ultimate power now, and now she's corrupted. Absolutely.
Yes, that would be cool. And
That would be better.
That's kind of the idea, is that like later when she becomes Dark Phoenix, the idea is that the Phoenix personality within her is hungry for experience and emotion, and it like thrives on conflict. And
That's perfect for Jean.
yeah,
2 guys chasing after her.
bingo. And she's real. Like Phoenix has always been kind of attracted to Wolverine because he's like very wild and untamable, much like a phoenix. So one of the members of the Inner Circle, if you're watching the X-Men animated series, but the Hellfire Club, if you're an adult reading comic books, Jason Windguard, aka Mastermind, who is lame and looks like an asshole from the 18th century. He has psychic powers too, kinda, and he runs the Hellfire Club with like Emma Frost and White Queen, and a few other superfluous
Wait,
characters.
I thought Emma Frost was the White Queen.
She was the White Queen.
Oh.
Like it was Emma Frost / the White Queen.
Okay.
So she actually helps Mastermind use his reality, or not reality, it's more like perception distorting powers,
Okay.
to convince Jean Grey. Convinces her that she's in like the 18th century, and Jason Windguard is an ancestor of Mastermind, and they're banging, and he corrupts her using that experience to make her into his Dark Queen, or his Dark Queen
Okay, that happens in this book?
in this book.
Okay.
So Mastermind bangs Jean Grey.
On the Mindscape.
Oh.
Oh, okay, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's totally legit.
Oh, it's
yeah,
fine.
unless you're Cyclops. Exactly. Then it's totally cheating.
Yeah, it is
So-
totally cheating, especially according to Wolverine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Interesting.
Now,
So that adds context to when he does the same thing with Emma Frost.
except it doesn't, and I'll tell you why. At the end of all of this, no, you know what? I'll save it. Okay. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't actually cheat on Scott.
Oh.
And in fact, Jean Grey is absolved of all of the terrible things she does under the guise of the Phoenix.
Oh.
At the end of this.
So it was the Phoenix the whole time, right?
Right.
Right.
So she's Phoenix, and she's the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club. So we got a White Queen and a Black Queen, and the Hellfire Club attacks the X-Men, and they separate. And there's this really awesome during the Dark Phoenix saga from the X-Men cartoon show. They do a great job of portraying that conflict, where the X-Men are fighting the Inner Circle, and Wolverine is separated from him, and he fights a bunch of like masked drones, not like aerial drones, like stormtroopers
Right.
who work for the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
And it's just Wolverine being like, okay, guys, you miscounted because you didn't include me, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, this is badass. John Byrne draws a badass Wolverine. And so Wolverine, like, helps save the day, and blah, blah, blah. Or Dark Phoenix is like, fuck this, and she, like, leaves. And goes into the cosmos.
Oh.
She
just flies off.
She just
into
flies
space.
off into space.
Okay.
And when she gets to the other end of space,
The other end of space.
well, to the wherever she was going.
Okay.
She's depleted of her power. Like, even the Phoenix has finite power, because when she gets there, she's like, whoo, flying across the galaxy really took a lot out of me. You know what I could use? A star that is giving light and power to an alien planet. I'm going to eat it. So she, as the Dark Phoenix, consumes the star and kills 1 trillion people.
Oh, wow.
And the Shi'ar Empire, one of the cosmic forces that exist out there, one of the cosmic civilizations.
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
Right.
you've heard of them.
Yeah, Scott's dead.
Well, he's Corsair. He's just a space pirate.
Damn it.
Lilandra is what you're thinking of. And Lilandra is Professor Xavier's once and future alien lover, who is the queen of the Shi'ar Empire. She catches wind of the Phoenix's annihilation, or genocide, if you will.
Yes.
And she's like, oh no. This will not stand.
Right.
So then she...
How deep into the Dark Phoenix saga are we at this point?
About 2/3.
Okay. Oh, we
That's
just,
a-
we went
Wow.
through- wow.
Well, the X-Men fight the Hellfire Club, and then Wolverine helps them out, and that's it. So, whatever. What matters is the Phoenix, and what happens afterwards
Okay.
and within it. So,
Okay.
because, I could tell you about how, Storm battles her claustrophobia, or about whatever, like Madeline Pryor being a real, bitchy version of Jean Grey, and how she's like, I really like this. Like, I kind of like being in charge of shit and, being respected and banged by mutton chops over here. So,
Yeah, his facial hair is ridiculous.
oh my god, he looks like a Civil War general.
Does Wolverine, freak out that she's, this Madeline Pryor character?
No,
banging on
Wolverine's not like, you're wearing a corset, you're whoring yourself out there. You look like a trollop with this Hellfire Club. I don't like the way you're looking at that.
It seems like what he would do, right?
Right? Yeah.
No.
He reins it in. He's a lot less melodramatic than he's...
No, he'd probably just be like, It's not the Gene I'm used to, but if it gets me a shot, I'm happy with
Well,
it.
at least she's not with Scott anymore.
Yeah, that's one step closer to me.
Hell, I'm probably from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Bang me too.
If that's your thing,
Hey, I'm from your time, let's have sex.
Right. He just takes off his costume, puts on a fucking like a cosplayer outfit. He's like, "Hey,
It's got ruffles everywhere.
I'm Logan's ancestor too."
I got a puffy shirt now, let's do it.
Eventually, Phoenix is like, "Whoa, whoa! I think we're being fucked with."
Okay.
So it wakes up and it's like, "Oh no, you don't." And it turns into the Dark Phoenix, and she's like, "Fuck y'all!" And she, actually, her punishment for Mastermind is bizarre. Because you'd think she'd like, oh, if you like banging people from the 19th century, how would you like banging all these corpses? Like, you know, it's like, you could think she has nigh omnipotent powers, she could do anything.
Right.
She gives him the experience of having godlike powers.
Okay.
Because she knows he's such a pussy. It won't work on him. So he just freaks out. Like, he can't handle it. So she's like, nah, you were a god, now you're not.
But it's just the perception
Yeah.
of godlike powers?
Yeah, she doesn't actually give it to him.
And then she takes...
And then she takes that feeling away.
Right.
And then later he'll try to... Yeah, but he remembers. And then
For
later
him, it was
he'll...
real.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be, like, poetic in some way?
Yeah, because like she's like, you fucked with my perception and gave me what you thought I wanted.
Okay.
And now I'm going to give you what I actually know you want. And it turns out it's not even what you want. Or can handle.
Right.
So eat it.
So wait, he thought that she actually wanted to be mind-banged in the
No,
18th
I mean, like,
century.
he just made her think that she wanted that. I mean, maybe for all intents and purposes she did.
Maybe.
I mean, she went along with it for so long.
Yeah, it seemed to work.
Yeah. Pretty easily, I might add.
What was it that kicked her over into being the Phoenix? Like, what was the thing that she's like, no?
I think it was the interception of Scott. Being like, no, Gene, don't do it.
Okay.
You know, he's like, I love you! That's where the melodrama comes in. Is Scott Summers being like, I love you! At one point, Professor X actually, like, turns off the Phoenix in her. He actually puts in, not unlike that awful movie, he, like, puts in, like, safety nets and like, traps and, like, you know...
You gotta be shitting
locked
me.
doors in her mind to keep the Phoenix personality / like, force at bay, giving her regular powers.
So did they get that concept from the terrible movie from this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, this was 30 years ago. More. Yeah. I'm actually a little impressed they used that much, but the idea of the Phoenix Force being just augmented Jean Grey was such a short flash in the pan in terms of history for Jean Grey that it's like, why'd you even bother?
Yeah.
Now, I know why they didn't bother, because they didn't think that a cosmic being in their superhero franchise would be, you know, profitable.
Right.
Yeah, viable in any way.
Which, of course, we've proven is not true.
And it would have been much better.
Yeah. But then we wouldn't have gotten, you know, fights in the woods or Porcupine Boy. You know, there's so many rich moments from that franchise. Anyway, so... then
Antler Man.
Right, Antler Man, he's actually based off a character.
I forgot about Antler Man.
Where he, like, grows them and he breaks them off and throws them.
Is his name Tusk?
No.
Damn it. That would be great.
Yeah, I think his name's Spike.
I
So,
think that also works.
I know, but it's like...
But that's kind of lame.
Tusk should literally just grow teeth, and then he breaks them off and throws them at you.
Or like fucking huge horns.
Yeah. He's
And then like he runs at you and gores you.
or they're gonna go into battle, and then he's like, wait a minute. And then he breaks them up and uses them like daggers. Like, I'm ready. And Wolverine's like, that's gross.
It's like, I just broke my own teeth off. Fuck you, I'm hardcore.
Yeah, I'm hardcore.
What do you do?
Hardcore.
I just have these claws that pop out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I bet it doesn't even hurt.
No, it hurts all the time.
Maybe you have a
like
healing
it.
factor.
Here's those aliens she murders, by the way.
Yeah, they're like, no! And we get a half panel of them going like, Dap! Yeah, they look kind of like Dr. Seuss characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
They look like Thing 1 and Thing 2. And Thing 3 and 4 and 8 million.
They've got mops for hair.
Yeah.
They have big open flappy puppet mouths.
And,
And,
like,
it looks like they
gills.
have gills under their eyes.
Yeah.
No, I'm perfectly fine that she got rid of this.
Well,
Those
you're a
aliens
jerk,
suck.
my friend.
Do we ever see those aliens again?
You know, I
No, they're dead.
Refugees that you
I don't know, actually.
That would be
I would
cool.
love it. Like, for me, the only, like, they always bring it up. The Shi'ar are always like, well, the Phoenix, they annihilated a race of people. They're not even Shi'ar. Like, what do you give a shit? Like, if there was an enclave of, you know, like a colony, like a lost colony of this planet that I don't even know the fucking name of, and they were like, they gathered the resources and they made deals, backwards dealings with the Skrulls to just get to Earth so they could fucking kill Jean Grey. That'd be amazing. What would be even more amazing is if they did that story and they get there and she's already dead.
Right.
And they're like, no! And they can't even leave because they use all their money and resources to get there.
But then they're trying to take it on humanity, and humanity has to fend themselves.
That's a great team of villains.
Yeah. See, that would be cool.
Someone's like in the comment, yeah, they did that. 1992.
It's hard to
That's like
tell
what issue?
anything about their species aside from the fact that they have clothes and they have rectangular buildings.
They're a sentient race.
They're sentient. They definitely
With
understand
technology.
things.
It's not like you killed an entire race of gastropods. Several trillion years from now, they could have evolutionarily been the dominant species in the galaxy. Like, no, they're not.
The real people.
They're people with clothes.
Who were terrified to die.
They're people.
Who were terrified to die.
They're people with shame.
Yeah.
Cover yourself.
So she eats the planet. So she
They
eats
ate
the sun.
the tree of knowledge.
They had their own version. Maybe it was a bush, or something else.
And there were berries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ate
So
from the Globnar tree.
but the Shi'ar are like, shit, Phoenix actually could be more powerful than Galactus. Like, we gotta
Right.
deal with this.
Okay.
Also, Galactus, like, is a legitimate force in the universe, and Phoenix is this bitch.
Well, where did Phoenix fucking come from?
Well, the original concept was it was just part of Jean.
Like, this random mutant.
Yep, this random
just
mutant
got so unstable
Yep.
and mad with power.
So
that she became
OP.
almost as powerful as
Galactus.
She got blasted with cosmic rays. We all know what that can do to the true.
Is that it?
Yeah.
They're still going with the cosmic ray thing?
No, eventually, no. But at this point, when the Shi'ar are like, no, they reveal that in fact there's a Phoenix force that exists, and it found Jean Grey, and it saved her at that moment when she was crashing the shuttle into the ocean or into Jamaica Bay, and it inhabited her body.
Way to not stick to your guns, Marvel.
Is it
No.
literally the case that they just made her so powerful
Yes.
that they were then like, well, wait.
What are we gonna do now?
That doesn't make any sense. If any random person could just become as powerful as Galactus.
Well, I don't even think they were even worried about that.
Not
I think they
even
were
a
just like,
person.
wait a minute. We let this character, this plan of mine of making a cosmic female Marvel, like, Earthbound character, this got out of control. Like, way too fast.
Well, also, she can solve any problem the X-Men ever come up with.
Yes!
Yeah.
And they were,
That's the problem.
Well,
we
then
gotta
they
get
created
rid
the
of
Dark Phoenix to kind of make it go like, it's almost like what they would eventually do with the Sentry, where, every action is an opposite reaction. Like, if the Phoenix acts, like, maybe she shouldn't be. Because it's like, oh, great, you stopped the Juggernaut, but you also, like, exuded so much energy that you melted all the pipes in the ground and ruined the
And now New York
drinking
City's
water.
like
Yeah.
absolutely ruined.
Right, like you've
Shit like
done
that.
something. Yeah, like I mean, but how many of those fucking stories can you do before it gets really stale?
I think the only thing to do at that
Lots.
point is, have her recognize how much trouble she's causing. And be like, I got to go into space where I can't cause any.
Well, and that's the thing. Like that's eventually Jean does come to that conclusion, but it's after she's already annihilated an entire race of people. And so
a little too late, Gene.
Yeah. So she comes back home from eating the planet,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Shit, Jean, like, what's going on here?" And she's like, "I'm Phoenix forever, bitch." And then finally, Professor X goes up off his ass, or figuratively speaking,
And he
of course.
mentally bitch
and
slaps her.
he mentally bitch slaps her, and he's just like, "No," and he turns on all the mouse traps in her head, and she's like, "Whoo!" And that's where the melodrama comes from.
The mouse traps in her head?
Well, I'm just saying, like, safeguards and, like, trip wires and shit so that, like, she can never access the parts of her brain that, like, allow the Phoenix to exist.
Oh, so he traps it.
Yeah. Well, at this point, he still thinks that it's her. So he's trapping, like, her personality.
Okay. Yeah.
So, then, they're
So
like...
he thinks it's a psychological problem to
Yes.
be addressed. Okay.
And of course, like any good, mental health physician, he just creates tripwires in her mind to keep
Bottle
it
it.
a box. Yeah, just
Yeah.
keep it. Just
What? No, whatever you're feeling that, you just take that and you shove it down inside until it's way deep down there, and then you just, swallow it.
Yeah,
And then ignore it.
deeper. Way down. Just take that thing and then take a mental rock and put it on top of it, and you should be totally fine. That will never have any repercussion whatsoever.
You never
Dark
will,
Phoenix.
like, freak out.
Nope.
Yeah.
You won't have any physiological side effects from that
Stay on
either.
your meds.
And it will never affect anyone around you.
Nope.
No.
It's perfect. There you go.
Yeah, it is how they solve every problem.
Professor X kind of sucks as a professor.
It's funny. He's actually kind of a shithead. Like everyone talks about, he's like he's the Martin Luther King Jr. of the X-Men. He's actually more like just some douche, like who has omnipotent powers in his own right, and sometimes chooses not to use them.
But, like, he has the right idea when he's saying, don't oppress me? And don't oppress my race?
No, his ideals are great. That's the whole point of the X-Men, is like, Professor X's ideals are fantastic.
But the way he goes about them.
No one can ever live up to them. Not even the man who had them.
Yeah. Yeah, he just breaks it. Well, but I really need to.
Well, but it's inconvenient for you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone. So,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So, anyway, then, like, they're like, whew, we really got a lid on this thing. And then the Shi'ar teleport them onto the ship. And they're like, Jean Grey must stay on trial for her transgressions against this alien race people, who will not be represented in this trial.
Right.
Because they're all dead. And they're like, whoa. I think we're being a little rash here.
How did the
Did you
Shi'ar
see
even-
them? They have gills under their eyes. They have mop
Those
heads.
were pretty shitty aliens.
They
am I
only
right?
got one panel, okay? If we had, like, met them, maybe if you opened the book with them.
Yeah. It's not like she annihilated the Kree.
Yeah, or
someone we
or
fucking
you,
know.
you know?
Or you, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, if a mother had, like, protected her baby...
Yes, if we had
from
like
the beating-
seen... No,
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of, from what I could tell, men going, that's pretty lame.
Do we even know who the Shi'ar, have they been around before?
They're established in the X-Men,
Okay.
but they had been around before this book.
Okay. Are
How
they like
did
the
Shi'ar
Federation, where they're like
No.
a conglomeration?
I mean, like, they're
like,
representative of that.
benevolent
They're like,
species that...
later on, Bendis, actually, and many other people will play with that idea, that, like, different sentient races in the galaxy are all, like, part of something, but not right now.
How did the Shi'ar even know that Jean Grey did this?
It was near the Shi'ar.
They were just the closest big civilization.
Yeah. Also, they, like, monitored, like, activity. They were like, whoa! Like, a big thing
So it'd be
happened
like
over
if
there.
somebody
How is
like,
their
wiped
planet
out
not
Canada,
affected
and
then?
we were like, well, you can't just wipe out Canada. We're going to put you on trial for
Yes.
crimes.
Yeah,
Because we
except
kind of
the
like
fact that,
Canada.
like,
We're
if
friends.
someone wiped out Canada, that would affect the U.S. This didn't affect the
Well,
Shi'ar.
maybe it did. Maybe
I mean,
they were
it
a
might
major
have.
trading partner.
They didn't mention it whatsoever. But, you're right. But these are all valuable points that would be brought up by a great writer.
Right.
So
They didn't
anyway,
have time for that.
no time. I mean, like, maybe later they established some of those things, but I'll tell you, like, they revisited the trial of Jean Grey later with when Bendis took over. And, not
They
again.
tried to try Jean Grey from another time, or from the past.
Yeah, from the
Before
past.
she even,
Jean Grey
did
came
it
back.
Yeah, and that didn't work either.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Look,
they're
Jean
gonna-
Grey just has the best defense lawyer ever.
Yeah,
It's Harvey Birdman.
it's Professor X. So because Professor X is like,
So what's his defense? Well, I fixed her.
his defense is, I challenge you, Lilandra, to an honor fight.
What?
No! God damn
I
it!
invoke Globnar. Like, he basically does that.
Yeah.
He invokes.
He
some-
knows that they have this.
Yep,
rule
this
about-
antiquated, stupid
Yeah.
honor fight, and he's like, I know I can beat you because I'm the biggest psychic in the world, and so I'm going to fight you on the psychic plane.
on the mindscape.
Well, that's not even on the mindscape. It's just, I challenge you, like,
Okay.
to your honor. And she's like, you get me this time, Professor X.
Why doesn't she just say no?
Because she's honor bound. The whole point of an honor fight is that you are honored and, like, bound to engage in it.
Yeah.
What's the point of invoking it
No.
if you go no?
No, the whole thing about being honor bound is that, like, once you actually agree to it, then you have to be okay with whatever decision comes from it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's honor
Well, it's
bound.
like- yeah,
It's not that I have to accept it. Like,
No.
I challenge you to combat. No, we're still just going to try you.
No.
Maybe
Well, the
they have a
trial, by the
culture where
way-
you can always invoke trial by combat.
Yes.
Like,
Well, and
it's
it's
a last defense.
well, and the funny thing is the trial is we're going to execute the Phoenix.
Oh.
Like there's no
trial.
no trial. They call it the trial of Jean Grey. There ain't no trial. It's a sham trial. It's a drumhead, if you will.
So it's just, we call Jean Grey here to be killed.
Yeah, it's like I called Jean Grey to the stand. This stand looks an awful lot like a guillotine.
Nope, it's the
Nope,
traditional stand.
just place your head into that circle there. It's
then-
all part of the
and
Shi'ar
then
court
Speak
proceedings.
your name, of course, and
Yes.
clearly state that you killed an entire civilization of species.
And when you're finished, read this very long thing, and just make sure your head just stays there.
Right there.
Is there then not an honor fight?
There is a fight.
Oh, but at the end of it,
Well, at the end of the
still
fight.
to be executed. Like it doesn't matter.
No. We never actually get to the end of the fight because the fight. They're like, the fight will take place on the blue area of the moon, and so of Earth's moon. So they go to the
Blue area.
blue area of Earth's
I
moon.
guess the dark side?
No, I mean it's like that. It's like the dark side of the moon, but it's the blue side.
The
blue
side of the moon.
There is a blue side. It's so big you don't know it's there. The blue side of the moon is an area rich with oxygen. It's just it's a habitable area of the moon.
That we've never noticed.
Well, that we are, yes. It was created.
Even though we've been to the moon.
Well, we were on that side. The Watcher lives there.
Oh.
Yeah. It was created by the
Kree.
Kree.
Look at it with a telescope, like, what do you see?
You see, like, the ruins of an ancient civilization.
Well, then why wouldn't we have noticed it?
We noticed it, but, like, in the Marvel Universe...
You sent ships to the moon.
Yeah, at this point in the Marvel Universe, it's like, yeah. You know, that's too. But there's not much there. You know,
it's really
like,
small.
There's just this really awkward guy, and he always invites us for tea, but his cookies suck.
No, they don't know he's
go.
there. They can't say the Watcher. Anyway, but no, the blue area of the moon is actually kind of interesting because it's literally open air. Like, it's just a spot on the moon where there's air and shit. It was
That doesn't make sense.
It's created by the Kree. It's created by the Kree. The idea was that the Kree and the Skrull, the Kree and some other fucking race, it wasn't the Skrulls, were engaged in a contest to figure out who could achieve more in a short amount of time. And the Kree were like, I could make an area on like Earth's, on that shitty planet over there's moon, which is even shittier than that planet, and make it so that you could live there. And they do. And the Skrulls were the arbiters, and the Kree were determined to have not been that impressive, and then the Kree kill their contestant and the Skrull guy, and so then that's...
Oh, we don't win? Okay, well, we'll just kill everybody else.
Fuck you. It's very American for them, and now we won. Except then it actually winds up just creating a quagmire called the Kree-Skrull War.
Ah.
That started the Kree-Skrull War?
Yeah. Was the Kree science project not really being all that impressive?
Being sore losers.
Yeah, it was winning second place at the science fair. So, and then that'll be
It's some Kree's
really
dad being like, no, my boy's experiment.
No, the blue area of the moon is really impressive.
You guys over here.
There isn't even anything under there. It's just rocks. So,
it is impressive, by the way. What did the not the Skrulls.
The Shi'ar or the Kree?
No, what do the Skrulls do?
The Skrulls were just there to like determine whether it was impressive or not.
So they didn't
The
have
teacher, the
any...
science teacher.
Yeah, they were the science teacher. They were
Who was the opponent? What did they do?
The opponent was another... I don't remember their name.
What did they make?
I don't remember what they made.
Experiment?
I don't recall. I don't think it even matters.
Well, it has to be so good that a livable spot on the moon is second.
I also don't even
or
think
they
that
bribed the Skrulls to win. They're like FIFA.
Yeah.
Or they're like Russia, and the Skrulls are FIFA.
That would be cool. I don't think it's even that deep. I think it's more just like the Krees are dicks.
Okay.
But anyway,
We've gone far afield.
they have a fight on the blue area of the moon,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, they're like, the fight is in this cool, like, it's in the ruins of the area that the Kree made, and they're like, look at all this cool stuff. And then they're like, yeah, it's not that cool. And the Kree are like, fuck you then! Like, so it's all shit.
smashed, okay.
And, like, there's a moment where, like, Wolverine is walking through the blue area of the moon, and there's a big monitor, and it's that fucking monitor that you remember from Earth X of the Watcher's face. That's how the Watcher... And he's like... And the Wolverine's like, who the hell are you? And he's like, I'm the Watcher, Wolverine. Get the fuck out of my house. Wolverine's like, okay. At the end of the day, Jean is like, no, you know what? The fact is, like, they're right. I should die. And she uses one of the leftover pieces of Kree tech to kill herself, to de-atomize herself.
Oh.
And so she says, like, bye, Scott, and then shoots herself with the fucking ray gun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually set up like it's not even like she's like, so long, Scott. She like sets it up. Like when they get to the blue area of the moon, she's like, I'm going to kill myself.
Oh.
And I have to find out how I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So because she has like all this power, she knows where it is and shit.
Wait.
But she like
Being a
lets the X-Men...
psychic means that you can read other people's minds. It doesn't mean like, oh, I know that there's a thing over there.
Right. Well, maybe she read the Watcher's mind.
She's got topography maps.
Yeah.
So Professor X and Lilandra do not fight at all.
Not really. No.
They get there and they're just like flexing their mental muscles, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you!"
No, Lilandra picks some champions and they fight the X-Men. It's just a big X-Men fight.
Wait, it's not even between X-Men, Professor X, and Lilandra.
No, they each have representatives. They're both their own leader. Leaders don't fight wars.
Oh. Oh, wow.
That is
so
stupid.
the X-Men are fighting for... Oh. Well, that kind of explains her decision. She's like, I can't have people fighting. Like,
Yes.
I can't have my friends, like, fighting to
Potentially
defend me
die over me, yeah.
when I
Especially if
kill
they're...
all these people.
Especially if they're right. Like,
That entirely negates every little bit of why Professor X was like, I can totally beat you. I'm a huge psychic.
Well, no, he's just like
my people will beat you.
Yeah.
My X-Men are more powerful.
I will beat you by proxy.
Right.
I will beat you thanks to the efforts of the people that I control. So she dies, and then that's it. And that's the second time that she dies. Because she dies in the water,
Right.
and then she dies again this time, but she doesn't really die. So then, after this, okay, that's Dark Phoenix Saga. Ta-da! Whatever. Neat story, great art by Byrne.
Really? Because it's not so neat from where I'm sitting.
Well, the neat part is all of the editorial nonsense that took place afterwards and beforehand. Like the idea of making her into a cosmic entity, or the idea that, so, Jean became the Phoenix, and then killed all these people, and then she died.
By suicide.
Like, she killed herself. Okay, well, what if we want to use that character again? And the editor-in-chief at the time, Jim Shooter, was like, well, you can't.
She's dead.
Well, not even that. It's, no, you could bring her back if you wanted to, but the fact is, she still killed a race of people. Mm-hmm. And that's,
unforgivable.
Unforgivable. So we can never, if you can figure out how to fix that, how to redeem Jean Grey, make her completely unresponsible for that, then you can bring her back to life. And
Logan's like, I have an idea. How about if she comes back and bangs me?
That's not how she comes back. That's just something you want, Wolverine. Jesus Christ!
No,
and also, can you bring
totally
up one?
redeem her.
Can you bring up one thing at these meetings that don't include you banging Jean Grey?
I have an idea for a school name.
Yeah, I bet you do. Why don't you save it for about 30 years? So, yeah, a lot of cool moments in this book. I love the Jean Grey costume. Later on, it was so funny. I remember in the 90s, they tried to when Jean Grey did inevitably come back, and she had been around for a while, she was Jean Grey as immortalized in the X-Men cartoon show, where they're like, dun, 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 Wolverine and Jean Grey, like, what a late Storm Beast, Jubilee, Jean Grey, and Tom Smith. Like, it's just my name. I don't like those. No. Like, it'd be like if you were an X-Man, like Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Ethan. What does that mean?
Yeah,
That's what I'm called.
That's my name.
Well, what if we're fighting and then someone yells my name? I don't want it to be some ridiculous thing that I won't necessarily connect with myself. That's stupid. So anyway, what Marvel's like, apparently this is a huge problem for the X team. They're like, well, how are we going to bring back Jean? Like, what are we going to do?
Right.
So, as it turns out, there's actually this guy named Kurt Busiek, who's a huge writer for Marvel and has been around for a long time. But back at this point, he was just a nerd who liked X-Men and had a bunch of comic writing friends.
Okay.
And he came up with this idea that it was never Jean. That when Jean crashed into the ocean, the Phoenix Force, figured out who she was using its psychic powers, and then created a duplicate of Jean and put the real Jean into a healing cocoon. And that healing cocoon fell to the bottom of the ocean. And so the real Jean Grey was in suspended animation under the ocean. And the Jean Grey that had emerged as the Phoenix was just the Phoenix as a physical embodiment of Jean Grey.
Except she spoke and talked like Jean Grey.
Yeah, she took her memories and experiences of Jean Grey, effectively cloning her, and then walked around in her skin.
Cloning her in the Marvel sense, where you get all
your memories and experiences. Yeah. And so then they established, so eventually, Namor finds her, and he's like, hey, X-Men, what the fuck's this chick doing in the ocean? And they're like, oh my goodness!
Why is it every clone's mistake that when they clone someone, they leave that person alive?
Right? Spider-Man's clone actually, no. Spider-Man threw that body in the smokestack. He's like, fuck this. Boom. 3 points. But unfortunately, he woke up when he felt the heat of the smokestack and then stuck to the wall and then climbed out.
But, what was happening to Jean's Grey body? She was being destroyed, right? When was the Phoenix going to be like, alright, well, I've had my fun. I'm not actually Jean Grey. She's at the bottom of the ocean.
Never.
Exactly! Exactly! So why the fuck would you save that body?
Because the Phoenix isn't necessarily a dick, even though it committed genocide.
I think the Phoenix is a dick.
Yeah, the Phoenix is a dick.
Yeah.
There's
Why
actually
would you destroy an entire planet and keep one person alive?
It didn't plan on killing everyone. It was just it needed the energy of the sun, and it was collateral damage.
See, that's just it.
Why did they put all the people on that planet in a healing cocoon? And move them to another planet?
Well, because by that point it was Dark Phoenix. When Phoenix emerged, Phoenix just like, oh, cool, life, that's neat.
So you're saying that the Phoenix, over the course of the Dark Phoenix book, became more malevolent?
Yes.
Than it was prior to inhabiting the clone Jean Grey's body?
Well, creating it and inhabiting it.
So the entire
So really
love
Jean Grey made it evil.
No.
Well,
no,
being
it was the
human.
love triangle between Scott, Jean, and Wolverine that made it evil.
Well, I don't know if Wolverine even really plays much of a big role in this. In the cartoon he does, but in this one it's like he's sad.
So
But,
it's
like,
just Scott.
Yeah.
Scott can turn anyone into a Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
Or Jean Grey's memories?
Yeah, or Jean Grey is just an unstable spaz.
Right.
And no matter how you slice it, you know.
What was the Phoenix Force doing before it was in Jean Grey?
Nothing. It wasn't created yet. Like the idea.
I mean, but what are we in the retcon universe?
Oh, in the retcon universe, it was just flying around the galaxy. It just happened to be in the right place at the right time. It was like John McClane of Cosmic Entities.
It was waiting for someone. Like, eventually I'll find the right person.
I mean, the
Did it
fact
ever
is, like,
inhabit someone else before, or did they make it? Was there ever a story where they were like, before Jean Grey Phoenix?
Yeah.
Like, here's what it did. Here's cultures it annihilated prior.
that'd be cool, but no. They might have retconned them in, but from my experience of reading these comics, no.
The Phoenix began its infestation of people with Jean Grey.
Yes.
In the story.
Or it's more like the Phoenix finally was realized when it found Jean Grey. That no one can really handle being the Phoenix except for Jean Grey. And even she can't handle it because she wasn't even the Phoenix.
I really like the idea that when the past X-Men got brought back into the future, like, alright, that's how you get Jean Grey back.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
The fact that she's in a healing cocoon at the bottom of the ocean is fucking bullshit.
Well, that was, you know what, it took 30 or 40 years for them to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just comics in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Right? I guess that was
the other problem was, it's funny actually, like, comics in the 70s and shit, like, Jim Shooter was still coming off of, like, the Vietnam era, and he's like, you can't redeem genocide. And he was like, no. Like, he's like, we're not going to be the publisher that lets, that lets Hitler become an Avenger.
Right. Yeah, but couldn't you argue that, like, but it wasn't Jean Grey, it was the Phoenix. If you could find a way to separate the Phoenix
He does
Force
say
from
that,
Jean
and it's funny,
Grey, like, you'd say, what was Jean? It was the Phoenix Force that did that.
Shooter
Grey
has
wasn't
a metaphor of that, but he doesn't say, like, he says basically, like, if you say that, like, Hitler was redeemed and then you take him to Long Island and just let him live there, I bet a lot of people would show up with machine guns on his door.
Like if Hitler was possessed by a demon,
and then he would still be beaten to death by people.
Yeah, but
just like Jean Grey, even though she did that, like
but nobody on Earth gives a shit about this other planet.
No, they don't. They don't even know about
that's
it.
where that really falls apart.
No, it's where the Shi'ar are just going to keep coming to Earth with machine guns.
Yes, but even then, like, why do the Shi'ar even give a fuck?
Because they're the space police.
They're American.
They're acting like it,
except they're not.
Yeah, except like the Phoenix
we actually like took a bunch of Nazis.
You know what it was? The Shi'ar was going to use that planet and that species to subjugate them and make them their slaves. It was like,
amazing.
You took our resources, you bitch.
Yeah, that'd be amazing if, like,
you had no worry.
If the Shi'ar Empire was all built on the backs of that race of being, that they're all, it's like a slave planet.
It's like the Egyptians with the Jews.
Yeah, like, it'd be like if the Phoenix Force came in and killed all the slaves in Egypt, and then the Pharaoh's like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, how am I going to build my pyramids?
Yes, well, how am I going to, like, run everything?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm thinking? I think we're going to scale back the pyramid project. You know?
I also think we're not going to have so many people because we can't make the food now.
Yeah, we're having a real problem here. Like, that'd be really awesome.
That would be
if that was their desert. If that was what the Shi'ar's problem was, like, their planet sucks, like, it's like fucking California, and, like, without the water source, it's just a desert.
Yeah.
Like, without the slaves, like, the Shi'ar are like, well, shit, how do we live? Like, how do we function? I don't know. Right. I don't have to lift things. And they just get really mad.
The Shi'ar even made a planet for this species.
Yeah, they created it for them.
Yeah.
It was like, no, we're going to put you here, you can live there, we're just going to come every, a couple hundred years and take half of your population.
Yeah, the Kree and the other race, like, made that planet in like an experiment.
And that got first prize.
It says here that they are an ancient, peace-loving civilization.
Right, well, so, okay.
Doesn't really sound like it was created by the Shi'ar.
No, that was all
So you can't do that in a retcon because they already said what they were.
Oh, you can. Oh no, you can just retcon that right
easily.
You just erase the words in that box. Just put new words. That's what they did with classic X-Men. They reprinted.
You can't do that.
Oh yes, they do.
I watched it happen. I saw it happen. Don't tell me it didn't happen.
Sorry, Nero. We just retconned your past.
This refers to it as a code. It says the Shi'ar ship is touring co-dominions. So
Okay,
maybe
so they
considered that ship part of their empire, or that planet part of their empire.
Oh no! Are we going to carry over this whole Vietnam thing that like they're a territory of, or like
Shi'ar?
The Shi'ar? Is this like our Puerto Rico or something?
No,
like,
it's like it's like someone nuked Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
or
and we were
Hawaii.
and we were like, oh no, you don't.
Yeah. Oh, here's the blue area of the moon, by the way.
Yeah. Boom.
Oh no! It's Guild-Face people!
What are they doing there?
I don't know! Great.
It doesn't have the mohawk.
It's missing the mop head,
Yeah.
and it's missing
Well,
the
it's built
giant
into the
puppet mouth.
It's carved in the mountain.
Yeah.
And also, it's not watching its own demise. So maybe it's
Looking up at
normally.
terror as it's annihilated by a supernova.
Maybe it's to honor them.
I don't think so. They just died.
Yeah.
Well, they work really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No! This is an old place. The Watch has already moved in.
No, they retconned it in the book.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Well, one of their species went back in time.
Oh my god. If they were capable of time travel, they would maybe move.
Yeah.
Well,
a little bit.
They did. They understand that they are eventually going to destroy the universe, so they let their entire civilization be destroyed
Gotcha.
to save it.
Took a page out of the Phoenix's book there. Yeah. Dark Phoenix.
You know what it was?
Phoenix Force.
They were.
Yeah.
They were all Hitlers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And the Shi'ar didn't know. I mean, yeah, the Phoenix
Yeah,
sucks.
Jean Grey did everyone a favor. She wiped out their.
You're welcome.
Yeah, a peace-loving race.
Yeah, sure, peace.
Sure.
Yeah, well, in their language, peace means war,
Entire
genocide.
domination and
Yeah.
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 Also, Dazzler's introduced in this book.
I noticed that Dazzler was in there. She's introduced in this book?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they're like, we killed the chick in the book on the team. Where we're gonna get another chick? Maybe we'll make Dazzler. And like, it's the scene where they introduce Dazzler is like Scott's at a club and she's using her dazzle powers to sing and make light and like.
But not hurt anyone?
No, and Scott's like, wow, like she's got powers. And he goes to her. He goes, like, so who are you? She's like, I'm Dazzler because I dazzle people with my Dazzler powers. He's like, and he's like,
You sure do.
so. He's like rethinking it. Like maybe I shouldn't invite her.
Right.
Do you know how you got your powers? She goes, nope, and I don't care. And he's like, well, and he goes into the whole like recruitment speech. Well, you're a mutant, and you're hated and feared, and
she's like, no, because I
I'm
dazzle
not.
here.
They love me here. I'm hot, and I got dazzle powers. He's like, yes, I've heard about dazzle powers. You know what? I'll see you later.
You know,
That's what he should have done.
Yes, but instead he just leaves anyway.
Once you
and she's
step
out of the book.
outside this dance
Yeah.
club,
Yeah.
you will be hated.
Eventually, Dazzler will find out that her power is being killed and then being brought back to life.
Her too?
Yeah, but like, unlike Jean, they never explain it. Dazzler literally is murdered and then just comes back the next couple of issues, and people go, "Whoa, you're back!" And she's like, "Yep." And they're like, "What happened?" She's like, "I don't know."
I used my dazzle powers.
Here's my Dazzle power.
What? That doesn't explain anything.
Doesn't mean anything.
This does.
Dazzler. She's like, I was in the X-Men game. in the
Because it was made when I was an X-Men.
yeah, I love. There's a moment in X-Men '92, #2, where Jubilee is playing the X-Men game, and she goes, "How come Dazzler's in this game and not me?" I'm like, agreed.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Amazing.
Especially because in the game, Dazzler's powers were Jubilee's powers.
They're a little stronger than Jubilee's powers. Jubilee,
Oh.
Dazzler
I thought it was
throws
basically sparks.
exploding pink bombs.
Oh, I thought in the game she threw sparks.
So she lobs like a pink exploding bomb. She's way cooler in that game than she is in any comic or any incarnation of her. Including the cartoon that game is based off of. Called Pride of the X-Men. It was like a pilot and it fucking failed. It was awesome looking. X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga, and kind of also the Phoenix Saga. I mean, if I'm gonna be
some other
honest,
stuff.
that's all.
And some
part of it.
Kree.
I mean, you
We
kind
got
of
a little
need
bit of Kree teasers. Yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
And happy reading.
Don't read this, though.
No, read it!
Oh, it's important.
By the way, this book was a donation
Oh,
from one of our awesome members of the population.
thanks.
They wanted to see it. I'm sorry.
I'm reading the part where Dazzler comes in now.
Good.
It's fascinating.
Right? She's like, who the fuck cares?
She just says, "Are you serious?" In response to his spiel about.
And he's like, well, you're already wearing a mask.
She should have said, are you fucking...
No, because this is Marvel. We don't say that.
I
No, she says that in
I would-
fucking... The douchey guy in Astonishing X-Men says that to Kitty Pryde when she gives her stupid little speech.
Yep.
Yeah, but this is early.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, she should have started it right then.
Yeah.
No, DC. I'm just saying DC's allowed to do it.
I'm at an attraction at a club.
Yeah.
I turn sound into light.
You want me to do what
It's a
exactly?
light show. What am I supposed to do for you?
You could do that for us.
You can come into space and fight aliens and, like, Magneto.
You pass.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just make money.
I'm gonna make money. I'm just gonna use the power that I have for free.
Yeah. To cash in.
And just, dance and have fun and do a lot of cocaine.
Because it's the friggin' 70s, and I'm like a disco maniac, and this gravy train's never going to come to the station, I tell you